Hi, good morning. My name is Shirin Sharifi. I'm the sales director at the Spanish estate agent. I have been working in real estate for over 24. I started in 1999 on the coast and have held many positions in different roles within real estate. Yeah, I work for the Spanish estate agent. We have two offices on the coast, one in Estepona and one in San Pedro, which we're very excited about. However, we cover the whole coast from Malaga to Gibraltar and sometimes further afield inland. Any type of property, really, we pride ourselves on being able to supply. All my staff have got many years' experience. We speak several languages in the office, and yeah, a really nice crew working at the moment.
And so how did you get into real estate? What was the story?
I came down to Spain in '96, I think it was, and with my partner at the time, and my brother-in-law at the time was working in real estate for a large company, and I had my own business for a long time, and he sort of talked me into looking at getting into real estate. And although I'd sort of sold properties in the UK, I never sold real estate before, so I looked into it and actually got a job with the same company, a very large company with 16 offices, and we grew into 16 offices, and that's how I got into it. Really, it was just a recommendation, and I moved, as I say, fairly quickly within the market, and held several positions: head of telemarketing, sales, new developments, exhibitions, all that kind of thing. So I've done a little bit of everything within the market. Yeah.
And what services do you offer now in your company?
So the services we offer is obviously finding the right property for the clients, and listening, really important for us to listen to what the clients want, and finding them that right property. But obviously it starts much earlier than that, and it goes on after that as well, finding them the right lawyer, or finding them the right builder, and all the services that come after actually buying a property: furniture, babysitters, house cleaners, anything at all that's needed. We provide a full service with all our contacts. And
Is it resales and off plan that you do, or both? Or?
we have access to every single property that's for sale on the market. So that includes resale properties, and we go through with the clients the process with resales. But obviously we work with the developers and selling off-plan properties as well. So yeah, absolutely. And both have big differences in buying costs and so on, which we have to explain.
What other top five, say, nationalities would you say are your buyers commonly, and how has that changed over the last few years?
I think in the past, we all know the English and Irish market was very, very strong indeed. That changed again to the Dutch. We had very strong Belgian market at one point. Then, of course, the Norwegians, or the Scandinavian market, Swedish and Norwegian market, grew massively, especially in places like Nueva and so on. I think the biggest market surge for us has been the US market, whether it's people of Hispanic background in the US that are looking to come back, or people that are looking to relocate to Spain. Americans at the moment, or anybody with dollars, I would say. Obviously, the currency going through a stage of being quite strong. So I think a lot of people are, let's say, worried about the politics and the safety aspects, the security that's in the US, and how things, have changed. And they find, like with many nationalities, with most nationalities, find that the life in Spain, or the Costa del Sol especially, offers them security, very low health insurance, a much cheaper lifestyle anyway, much better value for money in terms of the properties they can achieve, and a much happier, healthier lifestyle for them.
What would you say are the biggest challenges that you're finding now in the local market?
I think the local market, I think everyone will say the same thing. The demand is much higher than the supply. When I first started in real estate, and all the way through, we always used to have on our shared system, where everybody puts their properties into, we used to see around We probably now have a third of the number of resale properties that we had then, which is a huge difference. Whereas before we had several options, and if something was sold, we had other options to offer our clients. I think the biggest problem we've got at the moment is that good properties sell very, very quickly, remotely. The way of buying has changed so much. So I think that's my biggest challenge, is to have listings and to find listings that are in numbers. Yeah, there's a lack of supply. Good locations do sell very quickly, and inland properties are desirable too. But the other thing is always keeping on top of the legal changes, the visa changes, the requirements, and so on. It is really important to know your facts, and any good agent really should be keeping on top of that. And that is our homework, let's say. So those are quite challenging. Different things like Brexit have always has affected us. Obviously, the war in Ukraine, all that has really affected and been a challenge. But we have to adapt. COVID, of course, proved one of the biggest changes for us, and how we had to adapt to that. They're challenges, but I find at first we panicked when each of those situations arose. But funnily enough, it caused the market to actually improve for us for several reasons. And, we all know the health and the weather and so on. But I think a big factor, I find people really feel safe where we are. And I don't think they feel that in certain other countries. So that was a big draw.
For those who don't know, in the Costa del Sol, am I right in saying that it's not just about having your own listings that's a challenge if there's a shortage, but you have access to whole of market, don't you, through the MLSs?
Yeah.
So it's not really something specific to your agency, it's something within the marketplace.
Every agent I speak to always says the same thing, is that they're finding it hard to have the number of listings as they list and they sell. That's the thing. They sell very quickly. So obviously, the prices being as they are, vendors are quite keen to put their properties on the market at the right price, but they sell really quickly. So that's the issue we have. And no, it's not just, in fact, we're quite well known for having good listings, but our good listings sell just like everybody else's. But we're finding everybody has the same issue, not just us, of course. Yeah.
What about property prices? We took the last 5 years with such a growth of demand, particularly post-COVID, and the shortage of stock in the core areas. Do you see that has changed substantially over the last few years? That the sort of what people may expect as an entry price when they're inquiring from, say, the UK, there's a little bit of an adjustment to their expectations in terms of price?
Absolutely. And it's another challenge, I have to say, that we have to manage, is people's expectations as to. I used to do exhibitions for years and years, and I would sit with clients and they would say, I've got 100,000 euros to spend, pounds, sorry, and this is what I want. And it would be quite a lot. And yeah, of course, that was never that easy to achieve anyway. But of course, now the prices having gone up, people's expectations don't always catch up with the market. So what seems to be a very healthy budget, sometimes when you see the list of requirements, obviously we have to adjust accordingly. The prices have gone up. We know they have gone up. However, I find services, amenities, and infrastructure has definitely increased and improved, and that's why we can still offer properties and still have a good market. It's not that we don't have any services, but yet the prices have gone up. Everything is improving all the time. Just look at Estepona and how many changes there's been to the town there, and how much improved it is.
Estepona of the last few years, as you mentioned, is a trending location, I think is safe to say. Mm-hmm. What would you say the core differences are, for the sake of buyers, between buying in Estepona and Marbella, aside from perhaps costs?
The main difference is I would say it's a different vibe. I mean, with Marbella, you have the old traditional Marbella club kind of chic, tourist attractions like Puerto Banús, the yachts, the boats, the cars, the nightclubs. I mean, Puerto Banús has changed enormously from when I used to be young enough to go out in the port. The nightclubs are immense now. Whereas Estepona doesn't have the nightclubs. It's not the same type, the same numbers or types at all. But whereas it does have beautiful beaches, it's still very authentic, incredibly authentic, Spanish seaside town. Very clean. The mayor is world famous for the work that he's done on the town. It's a different vibe, I would say. It's not the, dare I say it, the bling, as opposed to the authentic sort of Spanish clean seaside town. And the style of properties are quite different as well, I would say.
So slightly less glitzy.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say without offending too many people.
Okay, so moving on, you mentioned the changes in the market after COVID.
Yeah.
Let's talk about technology for a second. How do you think technology has changed in the real estate industry, for you as an agency over the last 4 or 5 years? What do you say?
It's been incredible. It's been incredible. I mean, it's like a snowball effect. Has been unreal. We went from the traditional kind of picking up clients, taking them around, showing them and sending them photographs and so on. Now we do a lot more of this. Now we're really easily available on WhatsApp, which is a huge deal for us. Video calls, social media has been huge. The traditional ways of interacting with clients through certain lead sources, let's say, completely changed. Social media is huge for us at the moment, and we've definitely adapted to that quite well. I think we've got a good social media presence. Google reviews. People want to know the history and the people that they're dealing with, so they do a lot more research, which is great. Hopefully we'll see a lot more legislation in terms of real estate people as well, and what they need to have. But it's been huge for us, and it's made being able to sell remotely incredibly easy. I mean, even during COVID, we were selling using video calls, 3-way video calls. I'd be running around a villa showing them all the cracks and everything that was wrong with the property, but clients were still buying, and it was unreal how it changed, like completely on its head. Sometimes I speak to clients about buying remotely and they're horrified, but others are pushing me, saying, come on, do that. I want to buy this property and so on. So it's very much part of the norm now. People didn't believe it when we first started doing it, but that's been the huge change. And we can be so much more helpful to clients at a much early stage by using the technology that we have now. And I love that. I really love that. And I love that human interaction as well.
How do you see the real estate market evolving in the next 5 years, say?
I think people are going to start looking further inland, I would say. I think people are going to be more confident buying off plan, let's say. And I think because of the amount of commercial investment that's coming in, things like the Pasha Group and so on, and ICOS and these big names coming to invest down here, I can only see it really going one way. May level off, and that's fine. I don't see anywhere really that kind of competes with the Costa del Sol in a way that will damage our market in any way. We do see people going further afield, like Cadiz, places like that, or further inland and so on. We have great staff in the office that are really, really good with inland properties, navigating the legalities of those, and going further afield. So that's how I see it. I think the prices may very well keep creeping up. They may level off, but I see people going further afield and just being more open to those sort of areas as well. Exactly.
What would you say are the hotspots of the Costa del Sol at the moment where people could still find good value for money?
That has to be the further west you go, I think the better value for money is. And of course, the further inland you go. Traditional inland towns like Alarin, Coin, and so on, they're not so cheap anymore. Estepona itself as a town centre is not cheap anymore. But if you go a little bit further west, going towards Manilva, those kind of areas, they're really, really popular at the moment. And they have so much to offer. I mean, you have the Kyero Port, where you've got this beautiful marina, gorgeous beaches, clean, just loads to offer. Spanish fishing villages like El Castillo. You've got Manilva itself, and then going on, you've got beautiful beaches that are not built on, as much as they are further east. I think definitely value for money. And if you want something slightly newer, let's say, they're the areas to be looking at. Absolutely. In terms of price, yeah.
For those, particularly from North America, when we talk about inland, we're talking about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes we take people 7 kilometers up the Ronda Road, for example. Traditionally, we used to drive up there to places like Los Akeros, and people would be like, "Oh, this is too far." But now we're going much further inland. Yeah, half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes to beautiful Spanish villages where people can walk into the village and they've got their little country house and so on. So yeah, distances are definitely getting longer, let's say, further.
So what advice would you give to somebody that's looking to buy in Spain and thinking of it more as an investment?
And this still hasn't changed in all the years that I've been working in real estate. I've got so many clients that bought off plan many years ago that have made so much on the value of their property, even after the dip. I would say off plan right at the very beginning, even pre-license if at all possible. Then that would be the best investment still. What we are finding is a lot of Northern European buyers buying really old properties, but in very good locations, and renovating to within an inch of really modern, really open plan and fresh, clean, white, grey kind of interior designs. And those are doing really well in terms of profit as well. But yeah, I mean, we talk to clients about buying off plan all the time and their worries. And when we overcome that, they find that, yeah, by the time the property is completed, it's gone up in value so much. It's a great, safe investment. Do your research, I would say. In terms of rental, be very careful. We see a lot of developments now where the communities don't allow short-term rentals. There are some that don't allow it, but they haven't notarized that clause in their community rules and so on, so we can still get around that. But it is important to know that if you're going to be buying for rental income, that the development allows short-term rentals as a rule. So that's really, really important to know. There were certain issues with licenses that had to be in place, but that's changed again. So that first occupation license isn't absolutely necessary to get your tourist license. I would just ask the questions and don't just presume because you're buying in a development that they allow short-term rentals. And that's our job to keep you informed of that as well, if that's what you're buying for.
So on that last point, would it be right to say that you advise or don't advise people to utilize a local lawyer for this part of the process?
That part is really easy. We can look into the community statutes and rules quite easily. But yeah, I would always recommend a local lawyer to work with, because there's a lot of work done in the town hall and it's who they know and it's getting the information quickly and so on. So yeah, I would always advise a lawyer. Don't believe what I say. Get somebody that's an expert to tell you what exactly you can do. We have had situations where clients have fallen in love with a certain development. They want to buy in that development. The community has voted not to allow short-term rentals, but they, as I've mentioned before, they hadn't notarized and put that in their statutes. So we were still able to get a tourist license for that client. It's mainly Airbnb. I think people are trying to sort of keep out of develop certain urbanizations, but yeah, I would say do your research.
In circling back to your point about the new developments being the obvious place for investment of capital appreciation, or looking at capital growth, just to explain that point a little bit for those who don't know, this is because typically these developments are launched below market price in their first phase as a pre-launch thing. So you kind of come in at a price that can be 20, 30, 40, 50% lower than what the later phases are. So you still need to buy in the right location, but that's the reason. That's the win, isn't it? In the
absolutely,
they're launched under market value.
Absolutely, we have clients on lists saying to us, "I want to buy pre-license," which people might think is crazy, but the reservation money is held in an escrow account. It's perfectly safe, and there are we have laws protecting our buyers, but pre-license is a great place to start. At every stage, a developer will put their prices up because of their marketing costs, because of their legal costs of achieving those licenses, but also to make it as attractive as possible to sell early on as possible. So by the time the construction is finished, you've reserved one of the best units because you were early in, and prices have gone up so much that your property's worth even more, and so on. So yeah, the price increases that the developer puts in place after you've reserved obviously don't affect you. You have a payment schedule, so you're not just paying the whole amount and waiting for it to be completed. You're paying sometimes between 20 and 50% of the purchase price during construction. So it's a very easy way of investing as well. And we find, every payment is bank guaranteed. If your money if the developer does by any chance go bust, or the construction doesn't finish and the bank doesn't take it on, that your money is refunded plus interest. These are all legal requirements that a developer must have in place.
The money isn't used for the construction, is it? It's an escrow.
No, it's an escrow account, and developers have to be of a certain caliber, obviously, to be able to afford to construct without that money. But they obviously, in their business plan, it works if they get sales as early on as possible. What
advice would you have for somebody thinking of starting their real estate career here in Spain at the moment?
Career? See a psychiatrist. That's what I would say. One of my colleagues said. No, I just think starting a career in real estate is, you have to give it time. Okay. I've been in the business so many years and I'm still learning. What I love about working with people in general, whether it's my colleagues or whether it's my clients, is that I'm learning every day. Clients are so clued up. You have to know that they are so well researched and intelligent these days in terms of the buying process. We have to respect that and know our product knowledge, the legal side of things. We have to know so much more than we used to. So I would just give it time. You have to learn. You have to learn so many things, and don't expect to be earning shed loads of money straight away if you don't have that. We see it all the time, very new people in the business, and it's frustrating sometimes because we have all this knowledge and others don't. But I would say give it time. It takes time to get that knowledge, and it takes time. And you have to be open, transparent, all those things that we sort of pride ourselves on. But in terms of that real estate career, if you're looking to open your own business in real estate, then you better have all that experience, and you better have shed loads of money, because the marketing is so expensive, and it's very competitive, obviously.
Do you think that people are learning to set up their agencies underestimate how difficult the market is?
Yeah, I think they do underestimate, and I think that competition is underestimated massively. I think I've seen it so many years. For so many years, I've watched people coming into the business, opening up and then closing down and losing quite a lot of money. So I would just really, really think about how much money it really does take to get the clients. When you're dealing with bigger companies and so on, we invest heavily on our staff, their training, our offices. Our reputation is hugely important to us, but that takes money and it takes time.
If you had to sort of explain what makes your agency different to others, what would you say the main thing is?
Well, I hope what's come across in this is my passion for the business. I love it with every fiber. I love doing what I do. I love the people involved in the business. I love my colleagues. Our passion is the first thing. The second thing, I think, is our experience. All my guys are really well experienced in all different types of property. We're not just here to sell the off-plan, easy sales, so on. We sell many resales, some with issues, some with not. We're not afraid to lose a sale. We are not afraid to lose a sale if the property has legal issues. That's really, really important. Our reputation is so much more important to us than that. And we have walked away from many, or made our clients walk away from many properties that had terrible issues that we wouldn't recommend. Yeah, just our love for the business, really, and wanting to do the right thing is always really important to me.
Well,
Yeah,
with that, Sharon, I think that wraps it up beautifully. Thank you so much for giving us
great.
the time and telling us your story. It was
Pleasure being
precious.
here. Really, really, real pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.